It was a dark and stormy night, the air thick with a tension you could almost touch. The atmosphere was heavy and damp, like it was trying to smother us. I was in an ancient, crumbling farmhouse, a place forgotten by time, with Mark, a friend I'd known for years, but who that night seemed almost a stranger. His familiar features now twisted by an incomprehensible shadow. Fear, perhaps. The chandeliers, covered in thick layers of dust and cobwebs, hung from the peeling ceilings like hanged bodies, swaying in a silent, macabre dance at the slightest whisper of wind sneaking through the cracks in the walls. Their creaking was a continuous lament, echoing through the silent corridors. "This place is creepy, huh?" Mark tried to break the silence with a nervous smile, but in his eyes danced pure terror, an abyss that not even adrenaline could mask. He couldn't fully hide the tension that kept his eyes wide and hands slightly trembling. "Definitely," I replied, with as calm a voice as I could muster. I was scanning the shadow-wrapped hallway, a stretch of darkness that seemed like an endless abyss. Each door, each corner, each crack in the walls seemed to conceal some unspeakable secret waiting to be revealed. Driven by teenage curiosity and without a clear plan, we ventured deeper into the house. Mark, with a mix of courage and recklessness, opened a door that creaked so ominously it sent shivers down our spines. Beyond the threshold lay a room forgotten by time, shrouded in a blanket of dust and cobwebs that obscured its contours, as if everything had stopped in an eternal agony. In this den of desolation, old books, their pages yellowed and dusty, lay in disordered heaps. Once, majestic candlesticks, now choked by darkness, hung motionless. A sharp, nauseating smell of mold hit us, almost like a punch to the stomach. "What a place. It's like something out of a horror movie," Mark commented, his voice altered by palpable anxiety. Even his eyes, once full of life, were now dull, as if the darkness had swallowed them. I was about to open my mouth to share my own apprehensions, when a low, guttural sound, almost a growl, emerged from the darkest corner of the room. Our hearts stopped. We turned, and there, motionless, staring at us, was a mutilated figure, its limbs twisted at impossible angles, covered in rags that seemed soaked with dried blood. Its eyes were empty, two black pits that seemed to burn with ancient hatred. Before we could react, Mark screamed. An inhuman scream filled with despair and pure terror. The mysterious figure with inhuman speed grabbed him with supernatural strength, its skeletal fingers piercing his throat like claws, and with brutal force dragged him away. Casting my name in a final, muffled cry, Mark disappeared into the void, swallowed by the darkness. The door closed behind him with a dull, final thud, like the seal on a tomb. I was left there, alone and paralyzed. The silence that followed was deafening, a void that consumed the soul. Then a voice whispered in my ear, cold as death, "You're next." And that voice, that terrifying, lifeless voice, was eerily similar to Mark's. If you don't want to be next, subscribe to the channel now. Together, we'll discover more terrifying stories.